Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for clicking on today's video. If you're new here, hi, I'm Jasmine and I love to talk about books over here. You know, anything, all thing books. So if you saw that title, we're finally stepping into our fall season, y'all. I feel like every book person loves fall. Like, I don't know, it's just like I feel like the fall time was like made for us readers. Like, that's the only thing that makes sense, because fall is literally like a drug. Like, I'm literally counting down till fall. And in true fall fashion, I don't know if it's very clear in my voice or not, but in true fall fashion, your girl has gotten a sinus infection. You know, I feel like my fall season doesn't really start until the sinus infection hits. So, you know, that's fun. That's nice. But I posted a poll on my YouTube community page, hence how we got to this video today. So you guys said you wanted to see my fall TBR, y'all. Oh, I'm obviously feeling very ambitious. I mean, it's doable, it's definitely doable, but like if I only stuck to this. So we're gonna see what happens, like if I finish these before like the holiday season comes up. And technically I'll say December. So like I have September, October, and November to read these, and hopefully, you know, hopefully we get it done. Hopefully, you know, I'm gonna try to do some reading sprints and stuff like that to like help motivate me to get it done, and hopefully help motivate you guys to get through your TBR. But before we get into this, I just want to take a moment to thank our partner of today's video, and that is Nail Reserve. Nail Reserve is a US-based gel polish company that offers a variety of 200 plus shades of soak off gel, and they continue to bring fresh colors and formulas so you're never bored and your nails can live their best life in any shade. Guys, literally they have so many colors on their website. I'll put like a little screenshot of it here so you guys can see, but literally so many colors. It was so hard to choose. As you can see in this video, I did choose like a mauve color, and then I chose your standard white, because you know you gotta have your standard white. I feel like whenever I buy nail polishes, no matter how many whites I have, I gotta get a new white. So as you guys see, now I'm off the frame, you guys see a little video of me actually doing my nails with the Nail Reserve products. So here you just have the mini LED light, which y'all know your girl has been busy traveling, so this is so like, what's the word, it's so convenient to have like in my purse, in my bag. So when I'm out of town, I can just easily like fix a nail if like I end up damaging something, or like I end up chipping a nail. It's just so nice to not have to worry about obviously that really big like LED thing that I use at home. So if you guys are interested, definitely check the description in my or check the link in my description so you guys are able to try it. And if you use my 50% off coupon code, you can get 50% off of your first Nail Reserve order. So let's be twinsies and let's get the same nail polish color. But yeah, once again, I want to thank Nail Reserve for partnering me on today's video. And without further ado, let's get into these fall book, my fall book TBR. Guys, I'm still recovering. Okay, so like I said, let's get into this. Also, I will show you guys, so this is like the mauve color. I showed it in the video, but this is like what it looks like. And guys, I am literally obsessed. I feel like when my nails are done, I am just like, you know, I just feel more put together. Like, I'm trying to be consistent with doing my nails at home. I'll do them and then like I won't do them for like a month or two. So I'm like really excited to like try to continue. And I'm also like, you know, trying to get more colors so that I like am more inspired to like continue, because you know, it's just, it's a self-care. It's a self-care thing. Starting out, like I said, y'all, this list is literally I was very ambitious with this list. So we're gonna get into it. The first book I have is One Dark Window by Rachel Gilling, and y'all, I have wanted to read this for so long. I've seen so many people talk about this book, and I know it's like, I think it's like gothic fantasy, but I was like, this gives fall time, so you know, we are gonna shoot for it in the fall. This is the first book. I don't know if it's gonna, I think it's just gonna be a duology. Let me know if there's like gonna be a third book, but I do have the second book, so hopefully I'll get to the second book also. But yeah, I have never read like a gothic fantasy. If that's, I'm pretty sure that's what this is like, advertised as the gothic fantasy, so we'll see. But let me know if you've read it, let me know what your thoughts are. But then the next book I have is The Storied Life of AJ Fickery. I actually started this, but I only got like 2 chapters in, and I was like, you know what, let me just like plan to like read it and finish it over the fall. It's a super short book, like it's not even 300 pages, so I think it's, you know, a quick read if you just need a good palate cleanser. So that's the next book on my list. Literally when I'm looking at this and I'm like, Jasmine, what was I thinking making such a big like TBR list? Okay, but I have A Curse of True Love by Stephanie Garber. I think I talked about this before, but I tried to start this at the end of last year, and then I started reading the second book in the Divine Rivals duology, and so I never like, I think I got to like, y'all, I probably got through 1 chapter, but if you know, The Ballad of Never After ends on a cliffhanger, so like I was so ready to pick this up, and I don't know why. I kind of wish I did, because then I could just be done with it. I'm not like in a super rush to read it, but I'm also just ready to knock it out. It's like literally I'm just ready to knock out a series, and I'm like, I literally have 1 book left. Like, Jasmine, finish this. And so that's the plan. Since I finished the Entangled with Fae series, I'm like, this needs to be your next like hurdle to jump over, is to finish this series. So yeah, hopefully I enjoy it, and we shall see. I'm gonna try to be neat and put the books exactly where I took them off at, so then I don't have a big mess to clean up after. But then the next book I have is Emily Wild's Cyclopedia of Fairies. This has also been on my TBR for a while, and so I'm just like, you know, this is a well, there is a duology where there's a second book, and I think there's a third book coming out soon, but you know, I'm like, let's start with 1. And I see so many people have talked about this. I see it on Goodreads all the time, and it just seems like the perfect like fall cozy fantasy, I guess. Like when I think of fall, I think of cozy fantasy, honestly anything fantasy, but cozy fantasy for sure gets me in a chokehold in the fall. So that's, I have a lot of that on here. Belladonna by Adeline Grace. Y'all, this has been on my shelf also for months and months and months, and what made me go ahead and put this one on my list, because I was in Barnes when I was in Florida recently, and I got the third book, which I think is Wisteria, I think is what the book is. And so me and the Barnes & Noble person was talking, I was like, I still haven't read the first 2 books, and I'm like, I need to read them, and I'm over here buying a third book. But that, I was like, Jasmine, put this on your list, you need to read it. I know a lot of girls in the Thrills and Chills book club has read it, and they have said nothing but good things. So I think it's time, you know, for me to finally get into this world. But then the next one I have is A Tempest of Tea by Hafsha Faisal, I think is how you say it. I'm so sorry if I butchered that, but I think I talked about this in like a recent book haul, I think. But there's a criminal mastermind and the collector of secrets. Her tea transforms into an illegal bloodhouse by night, catering to the vampires feared by society. But when her establishment is threatened, Arthi is forced to strike an unlikely deal with an alluring adversary to save it, and she can't do the job alone. And so honestly, the word tea just kind of got me. I'm not a tea drinker, but tea screams fall time. You'll find out a lot of these books I picked was just because they literally gave fall vibes. But you know, that's how we live over here. That's how we live. So yes, I have this one. I also saw I think Rachel Catherine did a reading vlog on this one, and her review was really good. So, or at least I think it was really good. It was enough to convince me to buy it. So there we go. ROM Commerce by Catherine Center. I have been wanting to get into my Catherine Center era forever. I have The Bodyguard, I have her other book, but then this one recently came out like this year, and so I was like, let me start with this one. I originally wanted to read it over the summer, but I'm like, you know, I can do it over the fall. Like, I feel like Catherine Center, I don't know if her books are just all like summer vibes, but I feel like, you know, I can make it work. I feel like, you know, I can make it work for the fall time. But then the next book I have is Ready or Not by Cara Stone. This was also on my summer TBR, because I was like, my logic when I chose it for the summer was all the colors gave it summer, even though the scenery of it gives it fall, because like what she's wearing like an overall with sweaters, and he's wearing a sweater. So, you know, I was like, if I didn't read it in the summer, I knew I was going to definitely read it in the fall. I know this is like a surprise pregnancy trope, I believe. And so yeah, I used to like try to stay away from them, even though I had never read one. But then I read Out on a Limb by Hannah, and I absolutely loved it. I was like, why have I hated on this trope that I haven't even tried? So, you know, it turns out I guess I enjoy that trope. And so we're gonna see what this one's about. Also, another book I'm trying to knock off of my book of the month list, because my shelf of book of the month books is a little insane. The Atlas 6 series by Olivia Blake. I do have the second book on my TBR, which I'm hoping to read this weekend before the start of fall, which is for me September 1st. I know technically it's like September 20 something, but in my brain, in this household, September 1st is the start of fall. So I'm hoping to finish the Atlas Paradox over the weekend, so then I can start the Atlas Complex starting in September, and we can knock off another series, because y'all, I'm starting a new series. I need to be knocking them off, just, you know, in the same little time frame, I guess. I don't know what I was going to say there. Ministry of Time by Kaylin Bradley. I got this as a book of the month pick, and honestly, I couldn't tell you what this is about, but the cover intrigued me. It's giving, it's giving another like fantasy, maybe like, maybe dystopian, I don't know. It's definitely set in the future. A silver servant is offered the salary of her dreams to work on a top secret project. A recently established government ministry is gathering expats from across history to establish whether time travel is feasible for the human body, but also for the fabric of space and time. Okay, y'all, that does sound very interesting. So that was enough to like hook me. So yeah, I am super excited. I did pick this one to read for the fall, because yeah, it's The Lost Story by Meg Schaefer. I do have her other book, and I honestly don't know when I'm gonna read it, but this one sounds more, well, this one sounded more interesting when I like got it. So, you know, we'll see. Do I remember what it was about? No. But it says, inspired by C.S. Lewis, The Chronicles of Narnia, this wild and wondrous novel is a fairy tale for grown-ups who still knock on the back of wardrobes just in case, from the author of The Wishing Game. That's her other book, The Wishing Game. But y'all, that does, like, y'all know I love a good fairy tale. You know, it's giving reading just that little thing I just read is giving Divine Rivals, just because of like the wardrobe thing. I could be so wrong. It may not have nothing to do with letters, we will see, but it sounds interesting enough. And like I said, it's giving cozy fantasy, which is like the main vibe that I'm looking for this fall, because I am right now doing my ACOTAR rereads. So that's like, you know, that's my fantasy that's gonna keep my adrenaline going. So I'm just like looking for cozy fantasies. Next book I have is Fae Bound, which if you watched my recent video, which was like a few days in my life, you saw that I ordered this one because the Thrills and Chills, like our reading sprints that they did, they were talking about this, and I was convinced to get it. I think there's a second book coming out, but yeah, I feel like this is like, y'all know, like I'm trying to think, I feel like this is kind of like the type of fantasy that it's gonna give, I think is like gives like the same kind of fantasy that the, what is that series called? It's literally the Jade City. I don't know like what kind of fantasy you would call that, but I feel like for some reason this is gonna give that. I could be so wrong, but I'm gonna go into it thinking that, and we'll see how I come out at the end. If I come out, you know, still liking it. But I feel like that's, I don't know what you would call that. I can't think of that kind of fantasy though. I just can't remember the name of it, but that's what I feel like this is giving. So that's how this one got on there. I have Ghosted by J.M. Darhauer. This is a second chance romance. I feel like I haven't read a second chance romance in a while. I could be completely making that up and just not thinking about what I've read recently, but as I say this, I feel like I have not read a second chance romance. And I have this TikTok saved, and it's literally been saved in my like photo album for almost 2 years now. And I remember she like talked about this one. It was like she did a TikTok with a song, and this one was in there, and that was when I originally became intrigued. But then I think Sarah said like she like really enjoyed this too, like she could read it twice or something. And so that's, I'm just like, it's been on my 2020, like it's been on my 2024 unofficial TBR for literally the entire year. So hoping to finally get to it, because your girl has been slipping. But one of the books I'm most excited about, y'all, I literally cannot wait to read this, but it is The Pumpkin Spice Cafe by Lori Gilmore. Y'all, literally, this is the book of the season for me. When I tell y'all, I literally cannot wait. If you guys know, Starbucks has released their pumpkin flavors now, so I am literally counting down until I may go Saturday, and I may just spend a day reading this. We'll see. Well, technically Saturday is the 31st, so it was not really the 1st yet. So maybe next weekend, or maybe Labor Day. You know, we got a free day Labor Day, so no work, can probably, you know, sit at Starbucks all day and read this if they're open. But y'all, this is literally the book of the season for me. I don't know why I want to read it so badly. Well, I know why, because it's giving, but like y'all get what I'm saying. Y'all get it. Love My Afterlife by Christy Greenwood. I have seen this literally everywhere. I had recently picked it up from Target, and so, you know, it's here. I've been wanting to read it since I've gotten it. But it says a recently deceased woman meets the one in the afterlife waiting room, scoring her second chance at life if she can find him on earth before 10 days are up. And so it just sounds super interesting. I know it was, I think it was a book of the month pick last month for August, well technically this month I guess. And so yeah, I'm just, it sounds so good. I keep seeing it. I feel like it's a book that has just like gained popularity so quickly. And you know, it's giving me, just from like that, it's giving me like the feeling I get when I think of like an Ashley Poston book. Like that's the feeling I feel like I'm gonna get. So yeah, the next one I have is The Way I Used to Be by Amber Smith. Y'all, this is just, when I'm in the mood to cry this fall, this is gonna be the first book I pick up. I don't even know if it's gonna make me cry, but I know it's sad, and then I know there's a second book which is somewhere on my shelf. So I've been wanting to like finally get through this series, or this duology, and I think, I may be wrong, but I think there's a movie, possibly. I could be making that up. Y'all know I just, sometimes the mind just be making things up, things you wish could happen. But regardless, I do want to read this one, and I know I'm going to get a mood when I want to cry. I have a few other books on here for when I want to cry. I'm like, you know, you got to be ready. But this is definitely one I want to get to this fall season. And then, y'all, I'm trying to like put these back on this cart, like, you know, nicely. The next one I have is Maya's Law of Love by Alina Kawaja, I think is how you say it. But I got this one randomly. I think one of my book besties on Bookstagram, like she did a review on it, and she was like, she just talked about how good it was. And then also Hannah Grace has a foreword on there. Y'all know I love me some Hannah Grace. But yeah, I honestly can't tell you. It says a bride to be convinced she's cursed in romance finds her luck changing at exactly the wrong time. It says Maya is so convinced she's unlucky in love, that she comes up with a list of laws to explain it. Okay, so we got a lot of laws on here for her. Okay, I feel like it could be very interesting. It's not even, It's right at 300 pages, so a quick little palette cleanser, if you will, through all the fantasies. I feel like this little cart that I'm going through, half of it is like a good set of palette cleansers with all the fantasies that I know I'll be reading this month, and then also like thrillers once like October, once spooky season comes. But the next one I have is You with the View by Jessica Joyce. If you guys know, I read the X-Files, devoured, loved it, so I'm going back and finally reading You with the View. Hopefully Jessica Joyce comes out with something soon. Jessica, if you're reading this, if you're watching this, which I know you're probably not, but if this just somehow makes its way to your phone screen, your computer screen, can you let us know when we're getting another book? Because you know, the way the X-Files had me in a chokehold, I need more. I need more. Thank you. So the next one I have, this is another book that I'm like, it's gonna be perfect for when I want to cry, because y'all, the things that I hear that happens in this book, I know I'm about to be a sobbing mess. But it is The Last Letter by Rebecca Yarros, and you know, since we don't get the next book in like the Empyrean series until like January, which y'all, my pre-orders are like literally staring me in the eye. But you know, I'm like, I need to read something else by Miss Rebecca. So I hear a lot of good things about this one. First of all, the dog tags right here is just like literally, I'm already like, okay, you're about to rip my heart out some way, somehow. The cover just gives, let me rip your heart out. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Maybe I'll like try to do like reading sad books when I'm in the mood for sad books. I'll just try to, you know, read a few sad books in a row and record that for you guys, because I think I have one more sad book on here. I don't know if you'll consider it sad, but I just know everybody who reads it cries. So yeah. The next one I have though is Next of Kin by Hannah Bowman Young. She's the author of Out on the Limb, and so you guys, I loved Out on the Limb. That's the first surprise pregnancy book that I had read. Absolutely devoured. So I'm so ready to dive into her next series. I know this is a duology, and I think she has another book coming out soon, if I remember correctly. She has another book coming out, but yeah, these, like, she just recently got traditionally published by Dale Romance, and so yeah, it just looks so cute. You guys, I just love that. But it just says, when people-pleasing Chloe learns that her birth mother has unexpectedly had another baby, she doesn't hesitate to become a next of kin guardian. But when she fails to pass Child Protective Services financial evaluation, she is faced with the choice: see her baby sister placed in foster care, or participate in CPS's new initiative where 2 prospective guardians join households to qualify. Oh, and it's also like right at like the 300 page mark, so I think it'll be another really good palette cleanser. Y'all, I'm telling y'all, this shelf is like full of palette cleansers. But then the next one I have is The Neighbor Favor by Christina Forrest. Y'all, I have 2 of her books, and so I'm just like, Jasmine, I know she's coming out with something else soon, so I'm like, I need to get on it, and I need to go ahead and start reading her, because I've heard great things about her writing. So yeah, this one, it just says, a shy bookworm enlists her charming neighbor to help her score a date, not knowing he's the obscure author she's been corresponding with, in this sparkling and heart-fluttering romance by Christina Forrest. Yeah, it just, you know, another good palette cleanser, you guys. I'm just like, literally, I'm trying to be prepared for fall. I'm trying, y'all. I'm really trying. And then the next book I have, which I think I talked about this one in my most recent video, but it's Apples Never Fall by Liane Moriarty, I think that's how you say it. But this is becoming a TV series, if it's not already one, I think on Peacock. But yes, I had started the audio, but I only got like 2 chapters in, and so I was like, I think I'm just gonna wait until like I can fully focus it on it, because it was like literally an impulse start of a book. And so I knew I wasn't like really focused when I started it. Like, it wasn't what I was in the mood to read. So we're gonna try again this fall. I know it's kind of like there's a little mystery. Yeah, it just says, a gripping novel that looks at marriage, siblings, and how the people we love the most can hurt us the deepest. But it looks like a mother goes missing, and it's like, do they tell the police or not that their mother is missing? So I think it's gonna be, you know, I think it's gonna be mind gripping once I like actually sit down and focus on it. But then next, y'all, we have 4 more books, and then Y'all see, I told you, I think I can do it. I think I can do it. This Could Be Us by Kennedy Ryan. This is the second book, and the I don't remember what the like world is called, but it's the second book in this like little series. I read Before I Let Go. Did I read that earlier this year? Yeah, I think it was earlier this year when I read it, and I loved it. I just loved everything that was like included in the book, and like everything the book represented. It was just so adorable. It was also a second chance, which I absolutely loved. And so I can't, who was this one? Soledad, I think that's how you pronounce her name. But we get to see her in the first book, and her story. I'm just like, I gotta see what happens, because Miss Ma'am was going through it in the first book. Like, we just got to see her from a friend's perspective. So I'm very interested in seeing how this goes. But then the third book, we get Hendrix's story, and y'all, that's the book. Y'all, I need Hendrix's book. I need her book. So Kennedy Ryan, if you want to send your girl an arc of the book, like, I'm right here, I'm willing, I'm ready. My Kindle is itching to get that book. So, you know, send it my way, ma'am, please. But then the next book I have is Done and Dusted by Lila Sage. Obviously, you know, you can't have a fall TBR without a small town romance, and Miss Lila has been like releasing these books like crazy. I know the first two are already out, and then the third one comes out I think this year, like in November maybe. Ouch, okay, y'all, snagged a piece of my hair there. But yeah, I literally, everyone who reads this book has said it's so cute. It's just like the perfect little small town romance. So, you know, it's been on my TBR for literally most of the year. So I'm like, you know, it's time. I have Small Great Things by Jodi Picoult. I know she's coming out with she's having a new book release soon, and she's actually doing like a little, she's coming to Nashville. I can't remember what would you call them, like a meet, I don't want to say it's a meet and greet, but I guess like a book discussion or something. She's coming to Nashville, and so I haven't made my mind if I'm going to go yet, but I'm like, let me try to read her books, or let me try to read a book of hers to see how I enjoy it. Because I do, her second book, well, this is not her second book, but the other book that just recently came out did sound interesting. I was in Target and I was like, do I want to pick this up? And I'm trying to do better and not picking up things when I haven't even like tried the author yet. I know that doesn't make sense because I've clearly done it in other instances here, but you know, it's a hit or miss. Sometimes I follow along, and then other times I'm like, you know what, screw it, I want this book. So this was one of the times I tried to do what my brain told me to do, which was wait until I read a book by her before I go buy more books by her. So yeah, this one, I believe it's just a labor and delivery nurse begins a routine checkup on a newborn, only to be told a few minutes later that she's been reassigned to another patient. The parents are white supremacists and don't want Ruth, who is an African American, to touch their child. The hospital complies, but the next day the baby goes into cardiac distress while Ruth is alone in the nursery. Does she obey orders or does she intervene? And y'all, that just sounds like, I feel like this book is literally about to pull some emotions out. And you know, that's the closest I think I can get till I read A Little Life, because if y'all know, A Little Life is also on my TBR, but your girl is scared. So I'm trying to work my way up to that. I'm gonna try to work my way up to that. So we're gonna start there. So I'll see how I do with that one, and then, you know, we will see if I'm ready to deal with the traumas of A Little Life, because y'all, I just know that book is gonna break me down and I'm so scared. Okay, but the last book I have, which I feel like everyone is reading this book right now, or everyone is reading this author, but I have The Nightingale Tale by Kristen Hanna. Y'all, the amount of books I have of this woman on my bookshelf is insane. When I first started reading, one of my friends, she was like, oh, have you read Kristen Hanna? And I was like, no, but she was like telling me about her books, and then I just immediately went and bought them. And so now I've been staying up to date with like her new releases, and so here we are with me having multiple of her books and have not read one. But you know, we're gonna start this one. I see it says now a major motion picture, but I could have sworn when I looked it up it said it was not released yet. So let me know if it's out, because maybe I made that up. I don't know. I feel like I searched it and it wasn't out yet, but I did see Firefly Lane is on Netflix, because I have that added to my list. Like, I have that little series, but I didn't see anything about The Nightingale. the Nightingale. Why do I want to call it the Nightingale? But yeah, I have not seen anything about it. Like, the only thing I've seen is that like it was in production, but it's not like finalized. But here it's saying now major motion picture. So I'm like, did I just look up the wrong thing? Like, what's going on? But needless to say, everyone I know has cried with this book. It's a thick one, but you know, it's giving fall, it's giving cozy. Get on your couch, light a candle, you know, have the fireplace running, whatever makes you cozy in the fall. This book is giving it. So yeah, let me know if you guys want me to be like, if you guys want a video of me reading sad books, and I will save a week to read the 3 really sad books on my list. And we can just cry together. You know, you guys can see me rip my heart into. I'm gonna have to take off work that week. I'm gonna have to, you know, I'm gonna have to take some vacation, because y'all, I can't be crying at my desk. Those are the books that I chose for my fall TBR. I don't know what I was trying to say there, but that was not it. But nonetheless, that is correct. Those are the books that I chose for my fall TBR. I do have books for spooky season, so let me know if you guys want that. Do you guys want like a spooky season TBR? And also let me know if you want some fall book recommendations. I'm so happy to do a fall book recommendations video if that is something you guys want to see. Most of the books that I've read, you know, last fall, I think I had a really good last season, fall reading season. Y'all, why are my words, like, my brain is just like not connecting today. But yeah, once again, I want to thank Nail Reserve for partnering me on today's video. Like I said, check the link in my description. You guys can get 50% off your order. Get you some cute nail polishes, y'all. Let's do our nails at home. Let's do some self-care, and you know, let's learn how to slay our nails. But yeah, I love you guys, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.